Hello, bosom buddies. It's Silent Signs from I Dream of Indie, and today we are taking a look at boobs. Sorry, I mean, sweater puppies. Rather, it's 7 Pirates H, an RPG that comes to us from publisher eastasiasoft.
覚悟はいいかね？海に沈め！行くよ！
This is a turn-based RPG with the most unusual leveling system that I've ever experienced in my 32 years on this planet. Before you watch this review any further, or even consider purchasing this game, take a long, hard look in the mirror and ask yourself a few questions. How far would you go to touch some large bazoingas? And how badly do you need a turn-based RPG? In case you can't tell, I am not the target audience for this game, but nevertheless, let's talk about what the plot is here, even though, let's be honest, we're not here for the plot. In 7 Pirates H, you play as a young pirate girl named Perut Kairi, who is dead set on becoming a legendary pirate. She teams up with a boy monster, not to be confused with a monster boy, apparently those are two separate things, named Auton, who is a huge perv. And off they go, setting sail across the 7 seas in pursuit of treasure and picking up monster girls along the way, and nothing perverted happens. Just kidding, literally everything in this game is perverted. There is quite a bit of story told in the form of events that you're going to experience in various locations on your travels, but I tuned a lot of it out because of other things that were going on. Which leads me to the gameplay. The fundamentals of the turn-based combat are actually pretty standard. You have your attack, your skills, your items, your defend, and you can run from battle. However, there are a few things that you may not be used to seeing in your RPGs, such as pheromones and arousal. But perhaps most notable in this entire game is the leveling system that I mentioned earlier. One does not simply level up there, girls. There is booby training to contend with. Yes, you heard me correctly. Booby training. And no, I don't mean a personal trainer that specializes in idiots. I mean that you actually train these girls' breasts with your fingers. At certain points in battle, you will receive a training extract, which can then be used in the booby training mode of the game, where you have to either manipulate or rotate or fiddle with these tittles in some capacity until they either level up or down certain statistics, different motions, do different things. The whole thing made me feel very gross and weird. And look, I am not opposed to titties, free the nipple, and all that jazz, but this is just so incredibly cringy. I could feel my soul leaving my body as I tried to persevere through this game. But wait, there's more. You actually collect eggs throughout your travels, which you can also crack on the girls' titties. Yeah, sometimes these eggs produce items that are rare or helpful, and sometimes the eggs just crack on the girls' boobies and make a mess that looks like something else, because of course it does. There is an overworld map that you can traverse from your ship that you have taken from the Boobykin. Yes, the Boobykin are the people of this world that are merchants and sailors, and you can recruit them to join you on your journey as well. They can do various things for you and give you different tasks. You can craft and purchase new bras and panties from them, you know, typical RPG things. Since you do meet and collect monster girls on your travels, you can add them to your party, and you can have 3 girls equipped at one time, with one as the leader, which I suppose would make the other 2 your support, like a good bra. The actual explorative sections of this game are kind of few and far between. It felt like I was doing a lot more of the reading through the events than the actual gameplay, combat, exploration. To me, it felt a little bit tedious, I guess. The game isn't necessarily challenging, and it will run you double-digit hours. However, there is one very important detail that I need to share with you. This game does not autosave. And I learned this the hard way. You'll thank me later. As far as options go, you do have an auto battle system that you can turn on if you'd prefer to just stare at the girls during your gameplay. Other options include adjusting the sound settings, you can turn rumble on or off, and adjust the speed of text. There is also some extra content that can be turned on that may increase the game's difficulty. And since I know everyone is wondering, yes, you can play this in handheld mode and it does have touchscreen capabilities. Yay! The graphics definitely lean in heavily to that anime, or I guess hentai, art style in this particular case. The art itself isn't necessarily bad. I like some of the portrait art of the characters that you'll see, particularly in the almost graphic novel portions of this game as you're reading through the event text. But overall, it's a little bit clunky in the actual adventure portion of the game and looks a little bit dated, which I guess makes sense. This was originally a PlayStation Vita title, so it is a little bit older, and I don't think the Switch graphics are helping its case too much. Enemies are quite perverted looking and certainly very phallic in most cases. I didn't love them, I'll tell you that. Some of them are cute, some of them just look like bouncing ball sacks. I don't know what else to say. Objectively, the menus and overworld map were certainly clean and pleasant enough to look at. It's just everything else that isn't clean. For what it's worth, the game did run fine on the Switch, so if that's a concern of yours, fear not. The soundtrack is also halfway decent. It's quite nautical in theme, which makes sense because you're on a pirate ship. Wouldn't sound out of place in any other pirate-themed RPGs or movies. It's quite bubbly and bouncy and happy, and there was a pretty decent variety to it. Also, the voice acting is pretty good, at least from what I can tell. I don't speak Japanese, and it is, in fact, in Japanese. At its very core, this is a lewd game disguised as an RPG. That's it. That's all there is to it. If you want to play with titties, you'll probably enjoy this game. If you want to play an RPG, there are a million others I can recommend to you in the comments down below, so good luck.
やっちゃうね。邪魔だよ。いい気持ち。私か。痛いぞ。体がうずくってしゃった。
Surviving on YouTube making clickbait-free independent content is not easy. We can't do it without our brave indie warriors and legends that support us through channel memberships. Thank you to Indie Warriors Bill, Christian Cruz, Adriana Amato, CJR, PSC, Julian Kolbis, Jesse, Ray Lynn, Marky Mint, Dave Harp, Peekaboo, Lex Noyle, and King of the Hatch, and the brave indie legends Jen Rose, Larkison, Mitchell, Hall, Peach, Skeptism, C. Coyle, Nathan Moore, Chris Jackson, Mr. W, Blue Francis 14, the Beefarinis, Business Cody, Carmine Red, and Jace Glover. Thank you so much for all that you do for independent developers, publishers, and for I Dream of Indie. Everybody else, head down to the description box below where you too can become an indie warrior or legend yourself and help us bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming.